So,
Oh man, keep your chin up because completely different season. The next race you run is a complete race, and you never know what can happen. Race to race, you could find yourself having hoping good luck and pulling out throughout this past week. But before we let you go, man, which one do you want to give a big shout out to this time?
back and forth like that. And a couple times I got on the inside there on the front stretch, and
Shut up!
I could have pushed it a little, wider, but
Oh, Corey, there's a lot more to racing than just winning. I mean, taking the race by a full lap? Where's the entertainment in that? I just wanted to give the folks a little scissors. I'm sorry I didn't have a crew chief? No, I'm not. Because I'm a one-man show.
Long as nothing happens on this final lap, is definitely going to be the 72 of Joshua Durham. Alright guys, with all that information, we're going to go to a quick break, and when we come back, hello everyone and welcome to the Dover Motor Speedway for the Gladiator 100. Trying to find the right thing. It's not showing up. That's right, Gladiator 100 time here at the Dover Motor Speedway. That's the one I was looking for. And we're in store for a really cool race here tonight. We've currently got 23 cars registered for the racing action. And by the looks of things, we're just about ready for a pit party here. The drivers are starting to make their way out onto the track. Take you on a quick little rundown through who we got and where they're at. Scott Rickard currently number 1 with a 23.007. Spy numbers. We've got Thad Fail, we've got TJ Cradden, Kyle Kraus, Matt Horton, Thomas Harmon, Jonathan Hernandez, Chris Champeau, Jonas Marquez, Sir Lop, a brand new driver here to the Output Racing League. Got Masia, Pizzacemi, Cook, Sanchez, Collins, McCoy, Watson, Slammer, Petscuff, Brian Chambliss making a return, Campbell, Herderer, and Richie. I had to go through it quickly because small track, relatively speaking. As they're getting ready for the start of the pit party here. And there they go. Couldn't tell who that was on the pole. You see the drivers making their way through just nicely at the moment. There is Sir Lop in the 60 car. He's also a Twitch streamer. Pretty sure it's twitch.tv/Sir Lop with 2 P's. Right behind. Oh, he gets sideways. I guess run into by one of the other Twitch streamers on the track, Mr. Chris Champeau. There's Chris. Chap drives cars. And then Jungle Cat Wizard as well for Thomas Harmon. There's a few more streamers in there. Corey Cook is a Suntime streamer. TJ Crampton is a Suntime streamer. Even Brian Pizzacemi is a Suntime streamer. Make sure you support your streamers. Now we have 24 cars in the race, as Sasola just joined in on the session. And only one incident for the pit party. Looks like these guys are starting to get a hang of the track and the way that it's handling. Previous pit parties saw mass destruction and genocide. Ooh, Scott Rickard, side by side with Corey Cook. Got loose and ran into him a little bit. Neither of them spun out though, which is good. So Chandler's suffering a little bit of ring rust here. He's just a little bit over half a second off the pace. We'll definitely be looking on improving on that. Surprising as well, Harmon and Hernandez in 6th and 7th. Over a 10th and a half off the pace. They'll both be looking to improve as wow. Oh, McCoy. Oh, hold your brakes, son. They took out Thomas and Jonas and I think Corey Cook as well. And the crashing just kept on going. Many people involved in that one. Now, if these guys wanted to, they could organise another pit party. There is still enough time for it. Whether they will or not, it's another story. We see James Watson, Brian Chambliss, and Brian Pizzakemi. And once again, we have the battle of the Brian with the I versus Brian with the Y. As far as practice is concerned, Brian with the Y asserting dominance over Brian with the I. Of course, Brian Chambliss is Brian with the I, and Brian Pizzakemi is Brian with the Y. Pizzakemi currently in 12th, and Chambliss currently down in 20th. Neither of them have been able to improve their times recently. The track's definitely starting to look like it's gripping up nicely here with a lot of rubber being laid down. Just behind them, Ken Campbell. I wonder if he's wearing a V-neck shirt in an attempt to not choke. Definitely looking pretty good. I dare say he's probably on fresher tyres than Watson and Pizzakemi. Campbell currently down in 22nd. 6.5 tenths off the pace. He's the last car that's set a lap time. We do have 25 cars now as Andrew Griesbaum has slithered his way into the server. There's Chambliss now working to the inside of Austin Collins. I think Collins was the one who was starting on the pole of the pit party. Got his M&M's car there. Carl McCoy, 16 car. Where's McCoy at right now? McCoy is currently 16, so he's running his number. Carl Kraus having some issues there on the back straight. The Kraus is the OG Kyle, and McCoy is the young gun Kyle. There's Andrew Griesbaum looking to set his first lap of the practice session. Background now, I saw someone going around. I think that was a 9 of Joe Salama. Oh wow, and we got another surprise comeback. Sam Niederhelm in the 66 has come back. Talk about a night of big returns. Chambliss and Niederhelm. And even this four of Sanchez. Like, Sanchez has been racing this season, but he's been very inconsistent. Chambliss we haven't seen in a while, and Niederhelm we haven't seen in even longer than that. I wonder if it's a Dover thing or whether it's just a convenience thing. Or whether it's just coincidence that we're getting these three back here on this night. Definitely is going to make things interesting. Chambliss has improved slightly on his time. currently in 20th now. I think Campbell is just wearing a normal t-shirt because he's choking a little bit. Down in 22nd. That is San Niederhelm in the 66. He has set his first lap time. And he's currently in 24th. 0.830 off the pace. But time is winding down here in practice. Means we are very shortly going to be going to a commercial break while these guys go off to qualify. So you guys at home, make sure you stay tuned. Racing action from the Gladiator 100 here at the Dover Motor Speedway. We'll be returning shortly. So make sure you guys sit back, relax, grab a drink, grab something to eat, because this should be a good one. And we'll see you guys back here very shortly. Welcome back to the Dover Motor Speedway for the Gladiator 100. As you can see, qualifying is about to tick down and away. It's time for us to start getting ready to go through our grid here for the Gladiator 100. On the pole, the 9 of Joe Slama. On his outside, the 16 of Kyle McCoy. Out of P3, we will have the 38 of Thomas Harmon and the 12 of Chris Champeau. P5 will be the 72 of TJ Crampton, and then the 15 of Ken Campbell out of P6. 7th will be the 2 of Jonathan Hernandez, and 68 of Andrew Griezmann will be out of P8. P9, the 05 of Scott Rickard, and the 61 of Corey Cook out of 10th. And we've got Kyle Kraus out of 11th. Austin Collins will be out of the 12th position. As Travis Massey will be out of 13th in the 13. Sir Lop making his debut out of 14th in the 60. There's Thad Fallow in the 21. He'll be out of 15th. James Watson out of P16. 17th will be the 107 of Brian Chambliss. And Matt Sassola in the 93 out of 18th. There's Sam Niederhelm making his return in 19th. Lane Ritchie out of 20th. Brian Pizzakemi and Nathan Herderer out of 21st and 22nd respectively. There's Matt Horton out of 23rd. Jaron Sanchez out of 24th. Former league owner and operator. Jonas Marquez out of 25th. Mark Pentacuff will be starting from a 26th position. There you go. That is your starters and drivers for the Gladiator 100 here at the Dover Motor Speedway. And the stage will be conducted at lap 35. There's no caution for the stage, a rolling stage. The first start will be on green. All the restarts will be on the leader. And we have 2 attempts at a green-white checkered finish. The pace car is going to make his way down into the very slow pit lane here. There we go, he makes the hard left turn. And we're going to get ready to send them or bend them here at the concrete hell known as Dover Motor Speedway. And we're off. Great jump there for Joe Slama, and immediately just about 3 wide in the middle of the pack there as everyone sends it off into turns 1 and 2. As the 68 of Andrew Griezmann that we're focused on is currently stuck on the outside of Corey Cook and Scott Rickard. Kyle McCoy has taken the lead away from Joe Slama in the 16 car. And he's got quite the lead right now, already out to half a second. You can see that on the outside of Joe is the 38 Thomas Harmon, and he'll be looking for a good result. He loves racing around Dover. And oh, there's a touch. Not sure if Thomas came down too far or whether Joe came up a little bit. But there's no harm, no foul play on, as they're starting to stack these drivers up behind them. And now Harmon gets cleared, and the 72 of TJ Crampton is to the outside of Joe Slama. It seems the outside lane is already starting to come in here at Dover. Normally it doesn't come into a little bit later in a race when the tyres are a little bit worse for wear. The 2 of Jonathan Hernandez came back from some alternate dimension that he was exploring in. But still McCoy from Harmon, Crampton, Slama, Champeau sitting back there in 5th. We're just going to set the camera quickly to focus on crashes to see if we can see anything throughout the field. Currently looking at Griezmann in the 68, and he is in the 10th position. As we move back to Austin Collins, he's in 11th. Just behind him, big debutant Sir Lop. There's Matt Sisler as well. Sisler, who was a little bit of a dark horse, has been running pretty good recently. We'll be looking to have another good result here tonight. There's Brian Chambliss making his return to the Output Racing League as well. He is currently down in 18th. So these guys are towards the back. They'll be looking to want to come towards the front here. Just behind Chambliss, the other returning driver, Sam Niederhelm. And a little bit further back behind them is the poor Jaron Sanchez, who just got around Herdia for the 23rd position. And I have missed something big here at the front of the field. Thomas Harmon, who was in second, has dropped to fourth. Crampton's now up in the second. Champeau in the third. Is Harmon looking after his tyres here a little bit, maybe? That's possibly what it seems like. We'll have to wait and see if that is the case. Just behind him, though, the battle is raging between Rickard and Slama. And our pole sitter has just been demoted down to the 6th position. So hopefully that's not going to affect him too much and he can bounce back from it later on. But McCoy is still leading by a quarter of a second over TJ Crampton right now, as we've got 10 laps in the books. Laps going to boil down here very quickly. It's about 22-23 second lap times around here. So you get about just under 3 laps per minute. Well, I just realised it's a 120 lap race. So there you go. Now the only thing that we're going to do is wait and see if Miles the Monster jumps out and takes anyone victim, which he has been known to do around here. Going back to just focusing on anything and everything. Looking at the 05 of Scott Rickard. He's in the 5th position. We'll be looking to move up here soon, if he can. And everyone has caught up to McCoy. He got off to a brilliant start there, like a bat out of hell. But he's been chased down by Crampton and Champeau. In fact, Champeau running very wide there in 3 and 4, almost opening the door for Thomas Harmon to retake the 3rd position. He's doing it again. He might be looking to try and save his tyres here a little bit by the looks of things. If he keeps opening the door like that on entry, Thomas Harmon will fill the gap. Saw Pizzakemi has moved up 1. Chambliss has dropped plenty of positions here, actually. He's dropped down to 25th. And he's just made 1 back up to 24th. Morton's just gotten around Niederhelm for the 19th position. Big debutant Sir Lop sitting back there in 11th. If you're out there and you would like to apply to join us here in the Output Racing League, go to outputracing.com/apply. Tell them the Aussie Sim commentator sent you. There's very tight quarters here from second to sixth, as McCoy has just opened up that gap ever so slightly to Crampton once more. Looking at Thad Baylor here. Thad back in the 15th position, just behind James Watson. And there's Sir Lop. He's back in the 12th, and it looks like Massey is about to overtake him for that position. As Lop runs high, Massey runs low. Lop looking for the momentum, couldn't get it. It got a little bit unsettled there on exit. He's going to lose out on more than just the one position to Massey. As up the inside now goes Watson. Baylor looking at getting up there as well. I think Lop might have caught the wall. He did catch the fence. That's going to tighten that thing up immensely. Unfortunately, things are not looking good here for our league debutant, as Champeau and Rickard have battled a little bit here. Harmon's up in the third. We got a cluster back here, as Sir Lop has dropped all the way down to the 15th position, and he's now being hounded on the inside by Matt Sisler. Got Kyle Kraus, Brian Pizzakemi, and Matt Horton back here as well. And it looks like at the moment Lop is just trying to conserve himself a little bit, just staying out of the way, trying to not get in anyone's way, as Horton runs the extreme outside lane. Dives down low with all the momentum. He's going to look at taking him 3 wide, but he's not going to quite get there, as he's trying to squeeze that gap in the middle, forcing Sir Lop up high. And Horton now takes that position very aggressively. Oh, and there's a little bit of door-to-door contact there between Lop and Pizzakemi. I think that was a little bit of Lop coming down, Pizzakemi just drifting up slightly. But things are not looking good there for Sir Lop. And it looks like McCoy starting to gain a bit of space once more. We have one car in the pits, Nathan Herderer in the 97 car. He was floating towards the back. I think he might have some right side damage on the car and has been forced to pit. There is a 107, Brian Chambliss. He's made his way back up through the field after being second last there briefly. Side by side with Sisler and Horton. Now it looks like Horton's going to take it, as now Kyle Kraus pulling to the inside of Sisler. Couldn't quite make anything of it. Someone was blinking out wildly there in the back of the pack. Not sure who that was. Let's go back in and check in on our leaders, starting with the 16 of Kyle McCoy. That is not the 16 of Kyle McCoy. That is the 16 of Kyle McCoy there. And he has a 1.3 second lead over TJ Crampton now. I think Crampton under pressure from the 38 of Thomas Harmon. Thomas loves these concrete tracks. Dover and Bristol are probably his 2 best tracks for trying to get wins. But he seems to be struggling here a little bit. Heard in practice him saying that he was experiencing a lot of tight. I'm not sure whether he's got that remedied or not. We'll wait and see as the race pans out. But we are now nearly 29 laps in the books. I think what we're going to do is we're going to go to a commercial break. And when we come back, we'll be waiting to see if we get green flag stops So make sure you guys stay tuned. More action from the Gladiator 100 coming up here shortly. Welcome back to the Gladiator 100 here from the Dover Motor Speedway, riding on board with our leader Kyle McCoy as he's just put Mark Pentecoff a lap down, and Pentecoff is about to be fed to the wolves here. He's running high, trying to stay out of the way of our top three. Pentecoff, one of the stalwarts here of the Output Racing League. He's been around since just about the start, I do believe. He's just trying to make good on what he's got. There's Kyle Kraus in the 7, currently in the 16th position. Matt Horton has made his way up to 14th after getting around Sisler and Watson. The people who wanted to keep an eye on in this race. So we've got Chambliss currently in 17th, making his return. Sanchez currently in 20th in the 4 car. Niederhelm just behind him in 21st, and Sir Lop, our league debutant, currently last car on a lead lap in 24th. So it's not too good for Sir Lop. Hopefully the damage isn't too bad on that machine. You can see him start getting back up towards the front. As I think TJ Crampton there in the 2nd position was starting to experiment with some alternate dimensions, trying to gain some speed. Isn't working too well for him. The gap is 2.5 seconds between himself and Kyle McCoy. There's Mark Pentecoff going a lap down to the mid-packs here. We're looking at Corey Cook and Jonathan Hernandez. Just behind them, Ken Campbell in the 15. Campbell just got a little bit balked there by Mark Pentecoff. Just the way that you drive this track. As the 2 of Hernandez looking to make a move on the Cookie Monster. And it looks like Hernandez will get that move made and move himself up into 7th. As the outside line may have been good in the short-term run, but it's starting to die out here in a little bit in the longer run. Either that or Corey Cook has burnt up his tyres, and now everyone else has taken advantage of it. It's also surprising we haven't had a single incident yet that's caused a caution. thought we would have had at least one by now. As Sanchez, Niederhelm, and Chambliss have all lined up, nose to tail. I think Chambliss has had an issue as he's dropped behind them. He's back in the 21st position. It looks like Sir Lop about to go a lap down here to our leader, Carl McCoy. There's McCoy. And if we look just up ahead of him, oh no, Lop has pitted. Lop decided to get out of Dodge early, get into the pits. And that's a shame to see. It's so much promise as the rookie driver. And now he's sitting back in 25th as Mark Pentecoff, who has not pitted yet, has taken in full position. We're currently looking at Griesbaum and Horton as they're battling side by side. Horton, who's made his way up to 13th, trying to take 12th away from Griesbaum. There's Collins in the one car. And he's looking at this battle in front of him between Slama and Campbell. And Slama just slammed the door shut on Campbell. But Campbell fighting back on the inside, and looks like he's going to take over that position as well. It's possible that Campbell might be in a V-neck, because he doesn't look like he's choking too much right now. And if you would like context about that choke, have a look through the clips on the Twitch channel. TJ Cranton once more experimenting with some alternate dimensions. I just saw his name disappear and then reappear in the second position. And no one else is allowed to go a lap down now, because we've got Mark Pentecoff, who's 1 lap down, Sir Lop 2 laps down, and Herderer, who is 3 laps down. Very soon, we should be starting to see green flag pit stops becoming a thing, as Jonathan Hernandez shoots his way to the inside of Herderer. Herderer just trying to stay out of the way here. Let's see the leading packs past. And it looks like he got really loose there coming out too, just about caught the side, the one of Austin Collins. There's Matt Sisler. He's currently down in 18th. He was a little bit unsettled there coming out of turn 2 as well, as he makes a move on the 5 of Pentecoff. Back up with Ken Campbell we go. And this is a little tight pack here between Champeau, Hernandez and Campbell. 4th, 5th and 6th positions. Champeau runs a little bit high there to allow Hernandez up on his inside. And my apologies, this is 5th, 6th and 7th with Austin Collins back there in 8th. Oh, almost a touch there between Hernandez and Champeau. That almost spelt disaster for both of them. As now Collins is up on the inside of Champo. Couldn't get the move made. Champo gets him cleared. There's Kyle McCoy as he's negotiating some more lap traffic. He's just gotten around Marquez and he's just about to work on Niederhelm. It's Chambliss and Sanchez are the next two on his list of cars to overtake. Go back to the battles here for 5th and 7th. As Campbell now works his way into 5th, just diving underneath of the two of Jonathan Hernandez. He made that move look super easy. One of Austin Collins still trying to work on the 12 of Chris Champeau. And it looks like he's gotten the move made now in turns 1 and 2. Andrew Griesbaum has hit the pit lane. So we're going to start seeing green flag stops here by the looks of things. Mark Pentecoff has now just come in as well. Lots of smoke on the pit entry for Mark Pentecoff. So we're nearing ever closer to the halfway point in this race. There's Griesbaum just coming out of the pits. He'll have cold tyres, but he'll have supremely better tyres. As tyre wear is a big factor around this track. There's Sir Lop just behind him. Oh, it's Lop. And Fallor just about made contact there. But both Griesbaum and Lop make short work of that pack with their fresher tyres. But this is a battle right here. Horton, Slama and Baylor. These guys battling over the 11th position as we have now reached the halfway point. 60 laps down, 60 laps to go. There's Sharon Sanchez. It looks like, oh, Sanchez. I think he's coming to the pits. So too is at 39, James Watson. Joe Slama also in the pits. Sanchez almost didn't make the pit entry there by the looks of things. And something's happened to the 39 of Watson there, I think, on the pit entry. I think he almost missed it. So now the question is, when are all the leaders going to start coming into the pits? As Chris Champeau has come in. I think Travis Massier is going to join him in the pits. 9 of Pentecoff is coming out. Oh, sorry, 9 of Slama is just coming out of the pits. Pentecoff has been out of the pits for a while. Lots more smoke on pit entry. This is one of those tracks where you really need to practice pit entry. If you don't, then you could be in for a world of hurt. There's Andrew Griesbaum on his fresh tyres, trying to carve his way through the field. There's cars all over the place. People are trying to pit, people are just getting out of the way. We've got Richie and Niederhelm coming into the pits. think I just saw the 97 of Herderer coming into the pits once more, which makes me assume that his earlier pit stop was for damage. Collins and Hernandez are both in the pits. I think they're being joined by Matt Horton. Crampton has come into the pits, which means all the action is going to be on the 16 of McCoy for when he pits. This also elevates Campbell up into the second position temporarily. Let's see, Faylor, Harmon and Crampton have all pitted together, as Collins and Hernandez come out of the pits. Campbell's come in this time. We're looking at Scott Rickard, who has been elevated into P2, as he was getting swarmed by some of these lead lap cars. McCoy has come in this time, so 2 laps after TJ Crampton does McCoy come into pit. Sisler also came into pit with McCoy. Rickard has come into the pits this time. That elevates Kyle Kraus into the lead. He'll get leader lap points here. And Chambliss on return has been elevated up into P2 temporarily. He's probably looking for some leader lap points as well. Looking at Jonathan Hernandez. And Kraus has come into the pits. That's going to elevate Chambliss into the lead, and Chambliss will get leader lap points here now. You see Jonathan Hernandez just getting underneath of Chambliss as our leader. With that, a lot of people got back onto the lead lap. The gap between the effective first and second, McCoy and Crampton, is about a second, maybe just less than a second, as Chambliss decides to stay out for an extra lap. But once Chambliss pits, everyone should be able to make it to the end on fuel. Hernandez is trying to fight with Salama here over what is P5 on track, P4 once Chambliss pits. Chambliss would want to pit here shortly, or else he's going to lose out on a lot of time. About 0.7 of a second between McCoy and Crampton. And Chambliss still hasn't pitted yet. Oh, just about contact between Marquez and Cook. I don't think they're on the same lap. I think Cook is 13th and Marquez down in 21st. Jaron Sanchez is out, so he's pulled the pin and decided to retire. That's no good for the former league owner and operator, the league founder, if you will. He runs a very part-time schedule these days. Chambliss still hasn't come into the pits yet. He's completed 75 laps, and he still hasn't come into the pits. There he is, Just getting overtaken by all these guys on fresher tyres. So he wasn't able to actually get down for the pits that time, as he's now got 76 laps on this tyre and fuels set. Matt Horton in the 88. He's just gotten himself back on the lead lap recently. Still a lot of people one lap down that want to get that lap back once they get around Chambliss. But I'm not sure all of them would get the lap back. As Horton makes the move on Corey Cook. That is 4th position. That's for 13th. So Matt Horton now in the 13th position. Still waiting to see Chambliss come into the pits. He now has 78 laps on those tyres. McCoy and Crampton just 5 seconds back. And that is actually quite the intense battle between those two. Crampton has been bringing that gap down. It's down to about 0.3 of a second. And I just seen Chambliss's mic light up on my mini map, so I think he's actually going to come to the pits this time. Yep, he is. And that means that the 16 of Kyle McCoy has now returned to the lead. And right behind him there is P2, the 72 of TJ Crampton. And they just put another lap down on Nathan Herderer, who is going to be in 25th with the retirement of Sanchez. We go back to focusing on anything and everything. There's a 92 Chris Champeau right behind him. Sir Lop, who was down in 19th. Chris Champeau's in P5. And Lop is second car, 1 lap down. Matt Sisler, first car, a lap down. It's Brian Pizzacami, who's in 14th. Ken Campbell, who's up in P7. And his battle with the 9 of Joe Slama is 4th position. That's for 6. Campbell just drives underneath him with all the grip in the world to take over the 6th position there. Surlop just trying to hold on right now. It's not a bad debut. At least he's survived. And he's in 18th right now, Surlop. Gap between McCoy and Crampton starting to grow once more, though. As TJ's tyres start to fall off. Remember, McCoy's tyres 2 laps fresher than Crampton. So if Crampton's been playing his cards right here and been saving them a little bit, then he'll have something to fight with. But if not, then I fully expect McCoy to start pulling away the gap 0.3 of a second. As the laps are winding down. We've got 33 laps to go right now. Well, it's 33 laps as of when they get to the start-finish line, which is now. We go back to focusing on anything and everything. There's Brian Pizzacami. He's in 14th. And he's right up behind the 68 of Andrew Griesbaum as these guys get around the 5 of Mark Pensacough. 64 of Jonas Marquez, he's down in 19th. Pensacough did get around Griesbaum there for the 13th position. He's now going to start charging after Corey Cook. Jonas Marquez looking like he's actually got a bit of pace on him. There's the 107 of Chambliss, as his move on Marquez there was full position. Chambliss with the freshest tyres on the field right now. He's going to start making his way through. But I think with that, we are going to go to a commercial break here. And when we come back, we will be going to the checkered flag. So make sure you guys stay tuned. More action from the Gladiator 100 coming up shortly. Welcome back to Gladiator 100 here at the Dover Motor Speedway on the Aussie Sim Commentator channel. We're looking back from the bumper of our leader, Kyle McCoy, as he looks at TJ Crampton putting another lap on the 5 of Mark Pensacough. There is Kyle McCoy. And James Watson is out. I just saw that pop up on my screen. James Watson, OUT, out of this race. Not sure what happened to Watson there. I don't think he pulled into the pits, so he might have been Expelliarmus from the server. And if that is the case, that is very unfortunate for the driver of the Team Watson Racing Setups, number 39 car. Go back to the everything focus. There's Kyle Kraus. He's trying to catch up to the 13 of Massa and the 61 of Cook as they're battling side by side. That is for the 10th position. So Corey Cook has just jumped himself into the top 10. Or at least he's trying to. Quite the side by side battle going on here in front of Kyle Kraus. It looks like the Cookie Monster is going to get him this time. There's Brian Pizzakemi. He's in 13th, and back to the leader we go. As he's about to put another lap down on Sir Lop. And it looks like he's about to put a lap down on Griesbaum for the first time. Travis Masia, he's lost out on a lot here as he's just let the 7 Kyle Kraus through. Oh, and into the fence there. That was the 97 Nathan Herderer. Just about caught out the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi. Right behind Pizzakemi is the 88 of Matt Horton. As we will have 20 and a half laps to go right now. With 20 laps left, once the leader reaches the start-finish line. And McCoy has a 2-second lead over Crampton. We're looking at Masia. He's going to try and defend 12th here from the 78 of Pizzacami. Pizzacami, who drove away from Matt Horton. And Horton, who is the next car, possibly going to go a lap down. Although Kyle McCoy has a bit of ground to make up before that happens. Chambliss in the 107. He'll be fighting to try and get his lap back before the end of this race. As Herderer has come into the pits once more. Side by side goes Masia and Pizzacami. Horton just behind them. So too is Marquez. He's been holding pace with these guys quite nicely. But it looks like Pizzacami is going to take over the 12th position here, although it's still side by side with Masia. Masia holding on strong with that outside lane. Horton going all the way to the wall and diving down low to try and get that momentum on the straights. And Masia holds on to 12th over Pizzacami. Horton still doing his big diamond. Was almost looking to the inside of Pizzacami that time. Don't cut away from the good action there, camera. Let's go back to it. Horton didn't get a good of a run that time through 1 and 2. Oh, his instant defense was Horton. That's going to stun his momentum there a little bit. He's still got quite a bit of momentum from the diamond, but hitting the fence definitely ruined a little bit of it. Oh, Pizzacami got a little bit loose there underneath the Masia. Horton with a big run goes to the inside. And he's drifting up ever so slightly, just about contact between himself and Pizzacami. Pizzacami using the outside momentum to keep ahead of Horton. As Horton taps the fence on the entry to turn 1. Pizzacami now going to look to the outside of Masia as Masia got loose coming out of 4. And that is all the invitation Pizzacami needed to get to his outside, use all the momentums and carry himself up into the 12th position. Horton going to look at doing the same thing here as he pinches down on Masia a little bit. Now they go side by side. That is for the 13th position. And it looks like Horton has got that one sorted. We'll go back to just focusing anywhere and everywhere. There's 2. We'll go back to Masia now. And just behind these guys is our leader, the 16 of Kyle McCoy. Masia is the last car on the lead lap. And we've got 10 laps to go. So this race is almost done and dusted. And again, we've had no cautions this entire time, as Sir Loff has just come to the pits once more. I think that car got too evil for him to handle it. As Marquez has gone another lap down. McCoy going to look at putting the 13 of Travis Massier a lap down, leaving just 13 cars on the lead lap. There's a 4-second lead over Crampton. Crampton has a further 6 seconds over Harmon, which is very surprising. This is normally one of those tracks that's right up in Harmon's wheelhouse, as McCoy pulls to the inside of Massier. And Massier now officially goes a lap down. I think we're just going to stay with our leader here as the laps start winding down. We're going to have just 6 laps left to run at the start-finish line, as McCoy all over the back of Horton. Horton caught the fence. McCoy dives to the inside, and Horton is now a lap down, leaving just 12 cars on the lead lap. As there goes Mark Pentacup as well. He gets out of the way. And Sir Lop is OUT out of this race. That's unfortunate for our league debutant. Kyle McCoy is going to come out of turns 3 and 4 this time, and he'll get just 4 laps left to run. He's trying to chase down Brian Pizzakemi right now. Pizzakemi's showing some pretty alright pace. There's just 12 cars on the lead lap. Pizzakemi's going to try and chase down Corey Cook in that time, which is doable. There's only about 1.3 seconds between those two. And Pizzakemi maintaining 0.9 of a second back to the leader, Kyle McCoy, as Pentacup has gone into the pits. We have just a lap and a half left to go now. As Kyle McCoy goes through turns 3 and 4 for the penultimate time. It's going to be white flag, last lap, last chance to win it or wear it. Kyle McCoy makes his way down to turns 1 and 2. Been the absolute dominant victory here at Dover. And he has tamed Miles the Monster. He comes through turns 3 and 4 for the final time. Your winner of the Gladiator 100 here from the Dover Motor Speedway. 16 of Kyle McCoy. Crampton will come home second. Harmon will come home P3. Campbell 4 and Hernandez P5. Absolutely dominating victory here from Kyle McCoy right from the outset, and he's drifting in celebration already. He says, I don't need these tyres anymore. There's McCoy, Crampton, Harmon, Campbell, Hernandez, Collins, Rickard, Champo, Slammer, and Kraus wrapping up your top 10 there. There's Cook, Pizzakemi, Horton, Massier, Sasola, Griesbaum, Chambliss, Marquez, Niederhelm, and Ritchie down to the 20th position. And then Fallor, Pentacup, Herder, Lop, Watson, and Sanchez. We see McCoy get the burnout a little bit wrong there. He had to back up so he could keep it going. But we are going to go to a commercial break now. And when we come back, we will have driver interviews. So make sure you guys stay tuned. Alrighty, now it is time for our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner. And today's hard charger started all the way down in the 21st position. Can you please give me a warm welcome to the 78 of Mr. Brian Pizzakemi? Brian, 21st to 12th, +9 for the race. Not a bad effort, but not the qualifying result that we would expect out of you.
Yeah, well, there's this thing called the lead foot that got me on both laps. I was lucky enough to kind of save it on the second attempt, but it snapped around. It felt good until 3 and 4, and then suddenly the inside wall looked a little too close.
Well, you managed to fight back from the adversity of that qualifying effort, and with good pit strategy, had slightly fresher tires than some of those ahead of you, and you managed to fight your way through the field quite nicely there.
Yeah, I realized that it's like you really had to save to kind of push for the long run. And so towards the end, I was starting to push, and then as soon as people started pitting, I'm like, okay, saving's not going to work anymore. Time to just push what I can and then go pit. And coming out, I thought I wasn't pushing as hard as I was, or as hard as the tires showed, but once Kyle got by me because we were kind of on the same pace in the first run. I just watched him walk away. I'm like, well, this sucks.
What was it like trying to pass around Dover? Because Dover, historically, one of the harder tracks to try and make passes on, especially once the tires are worn out.
I wouldn't say impossible, but pretty near. It's just that bottom line, which was where only place I could really get it to stick for the most part was just so hard to pick up the throttle because it was just so tight. And then once you got to the outside, at least for me, my car would try to snap loose, and that was a real balancing act all night. But in terms of passing, it was a feat of its own.
Now let's look forward towards next week, Brian. We're going to be going to the high, wide, and handsome Kansas. What's the feeling like for you as we get everyone to attempt the Larson line?
I will have to watch it the day after. I will be unfortunately recovering from surgery that day.
Well, that's unfortunate.
So,
Hopefully,
no worries
surgery
for
goes
me.
well.
Well, I hope so too.
But
It'll be a bummer not.
yeah. But before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, everyone for coming out and watching. You in the booth as always, Corey. Do a phenomenal job, and happy to have you. Everyone tonight for actually going green at Dover. We had a hiccup at the start, but we all kept it going, and it was a pretty good race overall. Just couldn't pass.
All right, Brian, thank you very much for coming out. Congratulations on coming home with the Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award. And, well, since you're not going to be racing, maybe we'll scam you up into the booth as a pit reporter or something.
Absolutely, I'd be happy to do that.
All right, well, thank you very much for coming out, Brian. Congratulations. And we'll probably see you next week.
Hopefully, I'll be around.
All right, guys, that's the 78 of Brian Pizzakemi, our Autism Awareness Hard Charger Award winner. Coming up next, we are going to have our third place getter. And tonight's third place goes to the 38 of Mr. Thomas Harmon. Thomas, this is normally one of your strong tracks, but you just didn't quite have the pace of those two guys in front of you.
No, the Dirty Air was an absolute, well, it wasn't fun. We'll just put it that way. And you could pretty much aero block somebody if you wanted to, unless you saved your tires hard, and then you could pass somebody a late run. But yeah, if you were within 8/10 of somebody, it was just god awful tight.
Yeah, it definitely seemed a little bit that way. But what was it like just trying to figure out your pit strategy there then, considering how aero-tight you would get, with trying to just balance pressure tires to try and make passes?
Honestly, my pit strategy once I saw Ken coming was based off of him. My plan was to pit as soon as he got by me. Once he got to my inside, I just lifted and dropped to pit road because I knew that he would be good on a long run, and I just wanted to hold on to third because at that point, second and first was pretty much beyond hope.
All right, and what was it like just trying to deal with the track conditions here? Because one of the more difficult tracks, as I said, one of the tracks that's more up your wheelhouse. But with dirty air and multiple grooves and the oval refresh, things just seem a little bit different around here.
Yeah, the tires wore a lot, and the arrow just absolutely destroyed the right front on the cars. And you had to either go extremely slow or try to push it. And if you went slow, you're probably going to give up too much time. Uh, so I just decided to push it and couldn't get by Cal or TJ in time or at all. So it just kind of settled into third, and not much you could do once the tires plateau.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week, Thomas. We're going to be going to the Kansas Speedway. What's the feeling like for you as we head towards high, wide, and handsome country?
I think it was Kentucky. I think it was New Kentucky. But either way, it's going to be something. I get the feeling it's going to be tight again, especially dirty air with these things. That seems to be the way they've trended lately. So hopefully we get something that gets us out front, gets us in clean air, and lets us drive away.
I can confirm it is Kansas. Kentucky is 2 weeks after that.
Sweet.
All right, Thomas. Before we let you go here tonight, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah, shout out to you up in the booth for broadcasting it to everybody, all the fans that show up and watch the broadcast and everybody streams, and all the drivers that show up each week, drivers council admin, and everyone on the car.
All right. Thank you very much for coming out, Thomas. Congratulations on coming home P3. Although I know with a track like this, it's bitterly, bitterly disappointing for you. And we look forward to
It
seeing
is.
what you can do next week at Kansas.
See you, Corey.
All right, guys. That was our third place getter, the 38er Thomas Harmon. And he really feels it when he can't do well at a track like this. Coming up next, we're going to have our second place getter. And tonight's second place goes to the 72 of TJ Crampton. TJ, you tried to pull the pit strategy. You had so much pace, but you just couldn't quite topple Kyle McCoy tonight.
Yeah, he was very fast tonight. Christian Bud levels of fast. So I'm not disappointed at all with the second place. Pretty much continues my good runs here at Dover. Absolutely love this place. So had fun battling there with Thomas at the beginning and with McCoy there after the pit cycle. Just the dirty air at this track is a bit too much, and just unfortunately I couldn't quite get up to McCoy, but second place still good.
All right, now let's just talk about the race. This is one of the more difficult to pass racetracks historically with the oval refresh. Things just look to be a little bit different out there with the way that the cars handled around this track.
Yeah, since the oval refresh, the track, instead of being like really just overly tight now, it's kind of, you got to manage the run basically. You don't push too hard early, or else if you push too hard early, you burn your right front. And then if you push middle, you kind of burn both. And then if you push too late, you just absolutely burn your right rear. So it's very interesting. Just I'm not really the best at tire management, but I did feel like I did an adequate job today. So just got to keep that up for next week.
All right, well, let's talk about next week. We're going to be going to the Kansas Speedway. What's the feeling like for you as we head into corn country?
Not a big fan of Kansas. I'm okay at running the wall, but I've just never. I've had speed at Kansas, but I've either wrecked myself trying to run the top or spun out in the next gen, or something's always happened. So hopefully we can put a clean race together next week at Kansas. And I just want to point out one thing: looking at the output racing statistics on the website, I have yet to finish outside the top 2 at Dover. I finished first, second, and then today again second. So I just love Dover.
Yeah, quite the streak of second places there, as Kyle Busch would say. Second sucks.
Yeah, I don't mind the second place finishes. It's good points day.
All right. Before we let you go here tonight, TJ, anyone you want to give a quick shout out to?
I want to thank you for broadcasting all the races. Fun to look back on them. I want to thank everyone at Output for being here. It's a very fun league to be in, and I love racing here. And I want to thank Redline Oil and Extreme Mufflers and everyone who gets it done.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, TJ. Congratulations on coming home P2. And we look forward to seeing what we can do next week at Kansas.
Thank you.
All right, guys. That was our second place getter here tonight, the 72 of TJ Crampton. Coming up next, we are going to have our winner. And what a dominant win it was for the 16 of Kyle McCoy. Kyle, I think TJ said it best. You had Christian Bud levels of pace here tonight.
Yeah, I'm glad he wasn't here. um, I won that race on lap 1. That's what I told those guys. Is as soon as I got clear, I kind of got to run my own race, and everybody else had to race hard behind me and get in dirty air and kind of deal with lap traffic being a little more difficult. And who would have guessed it would have gone green, right?
Yeah, exactly. Especially with how some of those pit parties went in practice. I don't think anyone was expecting it to go green, but green it did, and things just went all your way here tonight. Even right down to pit strategy, putting 2 laps after TJ, so you'd have fresher tires.
Yeah, that was kind of a tricky call. Everybody was kind of staying out long, and that seems to be the move in this car. And I knew that I had a little bit of gap, and if I could come out in front of TJ and kind of mind my P's and Q's and kind of wait for his tires to fall off, we were going to be in good shape. It would have been a totally different race if he had gotten me cleared on that pit stop. So that's why I couldn't let it go any longer than that, But yeah, it's kind of just worked out. This doesn't happen very often, so I'm pretty happy. It's nice to have something go my way over here.
All right, now let's look forward towards next week. We're going to be going to the Kansas Speedway. What's it feeling like for you as we head into Kansas week?
Yeah, I love this stretch of tracks here. We got Kansas and Darlington. I think there's a couple more down there that are really good. Always feels like this May stretch of time is kind of my sweet spot. So I'm pumped to go over to Kansas. Got a little bit of a weird race with everybody kind of running up top a little more. I wasn't very fast here in our other in a league I ran here a couple months ago. So hopefully we'll pick up a little pace and find a little extra something. But I'm excited. Kansas is always fun. It's single lane, but it's a beast to drive, especially in this B car. So I'm excited. We'll see what happens. I expect these guys to come back with a ton more speed, and I won't have it so easy next week. That's for sure.
All right. Well, before we let you go here tonight, mate, anyone want to give a quick shout out to?
Yeah. Shout out to Scott, kind of my de facto teammate over here. Shout out to you for putting on the broadcast. This one's going to go in a special place in my save section. I'm excited to kind of watch this one back and see how everything shook out. I'm sure there were a lot of scary moments that I don't want to see, honestly, but this one's really cool. So I appreciate you putting this thing on, and appreciate everybody putting this league on. I feel like having a good season so far, and I'm excited to see kind of where we shake out after this one.
All right. Well, thank you very much for coming out, Kyle. Congratulations on coming home with the dominating victory. And we look forward to seeing what we can do next week at Kansas.
Thanks, Corey. We'll see you next week.
All right, guys. That was tonight's winner, the 16 of Kyle McCoy. But that is going to wrap things up for us here tonight. Thank you all so much for coming out. It's been a fantastic race. And we look forward to seeing you all again next week at Kansas. But until then, I've been your commentator, the Aussie Sim commentator. We'll see you guys in Kansas.